We are in Tirana, Albania with Keti in another episode of our podcast. Hi, Keti. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
How are you? Keti is a young business lady, to say?
Yes.
Do you like all the words?
Yes. Lady part, especially.
Great. So thank you for coming. We would like to know more about your story in business as an entrepreneur. So how it started, how was the idea, how young were you? So tell us something about that.
Well, first and foremost, I come from a business family, so business has been like around for me, and it was like bread and butter. So it was very easy to consider entrepreneurship as a career path. But I was also studying business, so part of different entrepreneurial competitions, programs, and I started to work on a business idea. And while working for that, I felt the need of marketing services because all the marketing efforts were taking all the time, and I couldn't really focus on the business itself. And since I was also studying my master's degree in marketing, I thought, why not just let's open a marketing agency. I had a lot of experience for 23 years old, and I started to work in another company, and my startup was my side project for a year. Then I saved money in order to grow it more and employ people. So when I officially started the company, I was 24. And the minute I, incorporated the company, I had 2 employees. And it was a very exciting moment in my life.
So it was a family background in business that helped you. After that, you were getting graduated in marketing. So maybe you thought for something related to what you have studied. And what was very surprising to me is the fact that you were thinking for another business, and then this idea of marketing agency came up.
Yeah.
So maybe sometimes ideas can cross your minds, and maybe it's not the first one that comes to your mind, but the second can be.
Yes, the thing is that you really need to think of your strength. And my strength at that point in time was marketing and not the other business. I didn't have a competitive advantage in that other one. Whether in marketing industry, I had worked in media, which is one thing that I really want to highlight, is having all kinds of experience during your studies. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you really need to have a lot of experience, not just in business, but a lot of people skills, know how things work, that things take time, and you need to have this business culture before starting your own business.
Yeah, but maybe you realize that you need all this after some years. So at the starting point, maybe you don't know.
You don't even think about it. You're like the boss in that moment. But now, in retrospective, I really think that all of those experiences, big or small, they really helped making me more resilient and preparing me for what was to come.
There are many marketing companies. So you were going to enter a market that had a huge competition. What was something that you thought would be different to offer?
Well, the tagline that we had when we used to go and meet other businesses, because we were a business-to-business company and we really needed that personal meetings. We couldn't just sell on Instagram or Facebook back then. So our competitive advantage was that it was a millennial agency, and we knew how people behaved on social media. It was very easy for us to comprehend these tools and how to make the most of it, rather than a traditional agency who were more specialized in TV commercials and like radio ads and all of these other traditional tools. So this was the tagline that's how we pitched to potential clients, and what stuck to them was like, yeah, you know this stuff, we don't get it, so it's better you do it. And it really helped because when you are 24, you don't have that confidence to negotiate and to let's say, to give the message that yes, you can handle this. So grabbing onto this idea that we're millennials, we know this stuff, that really helped.
Yeah, so that was a great, let's say, positioning. So you were going to new channels, marketing channels with young people, the young generation. So maybe it was a very good fit. So for how many years are you doing the business in your company?
The company was founded in 2016. So it's like in November we become 8.
Wow, 8. So is the business growing? What clients did you have the first year and what are you having now? No, not just naming them, but like the quality, the characteristics of them.
Well, at first we were kind of beggars can't be choosers, so we went after everyone. One tactic that helped us was I would check the newsletters that came in my email from different companies, and I was like, okay, if they're into email marketing, they are into digital marketing, so they also have a budget since they are paying for the service, and I would go after them. A lot of phone calls, a lot of meetings, a lot of people not showing up or being late. But you always need to insist and be prepared that this is going to happen. It's not happening just to you. It happens to everyone. It's part of the process. So we would go after, let's say, all kinds of companies. Now we are very picky because we had a huge growth before the pandemic, and then the pandemic cut us in half. So we lost 70% of our portfolio. But lucky for us, the 30% was like big enough to sustain us for the next 2 years and then get back on track. Now we also have international clients that not necessarily have a tie to Albania. I was lucky to be part of a lot of other programs after I founded my marketing agency. I had an exchange with USA marketing agencies. I had also some exchanges with marketing agencies in London. So I kind of got the feeling that they're not doing anything different than us. They're using the same tools. They have the same, let's say, resources, except for money. They had like these huge budgets. And of course, when it comes to huge budgets, Albania is a very small market. And this made, like, I was thinking about my employees. They were kind of left behind because of our small market. So if I wanted them to grow and learn new things and how to optimize bigger budgets, we had to get out of Albania. Exactly. So this is what we did. It was a challenge how we were gonna brand ourselves outside of Albania because we didn't want to go for cheap. Everybody said, like, if you want cheap, there's India. Like, why should we come with you guys? Exactly. So we were playing with this kind of affordable agency with the Western mindset. That, let's say, a company in India cannot, like, they don't have our lifestyle, the Western culture and everything. So this helped us in, and of course, all the portfolio of our previous projects in Albania was proof that we can deliver.
Yeah, so I see that in strategy you were like very smart. Maybe that marketing education helped you.
Yeah, I was in the best school in Albania, so
you were so lucky. But yeah, maybe you were answering all questions I had about going international. So what was the motivation? And you said that the market was small, and then after that you needed to offer something different, and you picked a very nice tagline. But can you please explain more? So what are the challenges? What is the process? How you do it? How you get clients in the international markets? Because, in town, in Albania, the country is small, someone, they recommend, and so on. But international, it's a big thing. How do you do that?
Well, now it's easier than it was before when I did it. Now you have Upwork, and we also operate on Upwork. So we have this agency profile and we send different proposals to companies that operate in industries that we know. Because before we would cater to everyone, but now we have like this, for example, we are specialized in companies that operate in health or medical industry. So we go, since we have the experience from Albania, we go after this kind of projects. Also, because I was part of different programs, as I said, in the US, in UK, I kept the network and all of the other entrepreneurs who were part of the program. Each of them had their own companies. So, and they were startups. They didn't have big budgets to hire a marketing agency in the UK. So it was easy to reach out to people. I have this motto that I always tell to youngsters and also to my students when I was a professor, that always keep your options open. So if it's something presents itself to you and you can do it like without much effort, just go for it. Don't think more of the gains, the instant gains, because you will gain later. You will have network and you cannot pay for network. That's something that you have and you nourish over time. And always keep your options open. You never know.
Yeah, that's really interesting and a good point. The network, but okay, networking is very important. But I want to go back to the first day when you founded your business. Let's talk a little bit about money. So you have an idea, but you need some funding to support it. So did you get any grants, or did you apply for one, or did your family help you on this? So how a new entrepreneur, a young entrepreneur, how can he or she proceed to the financials?
Yeah, actually in Albania, we don't have like venture capitals or where you can just pitch and get some seed funding. Also, even if we had, in my case, no one would fund a digital marketing agency because it's like, it's a startup that you cannot scale globally within 2 years. You cannot do so. It's not very attractive for investors. Lucky for me, running a marketing agency, a digital one, we only needed a laptop, an iPhone, or a smartphone, and our will. So this is how it started. But of course, I have applied in several grants, and I only got 2. It was a small amount of money, but for me it was a lot because I was able to buy laptops for all my staff.
Okay.
I never wanted them to work with their personal laptop because it doesn't seem fair to me. Like, I am hiring you, I should provide everything you need to do your job properly. Also, we bought a camera, a big, like a very powerful laptop for the designer, and it was a very good help. But it was a very small amount of money, so even if I didn't have the grant, I would have applied for a loan, and even a personal one would cover for these expenses. So it was also kind of a part of my strategy and why I decided to actually open this business. It's because I knew that it was very feasible, and it was mostly up to me. It was up to me to do actually the work, to go out and meet people rather than a money issue.
Did people trust in you at the first time because you were so young, or being young was an advantage because of the digital?
I would say that for me, it was an advantage. People were a bit skeptical, but the fact that I would reach out to them and the way like I wrote emails, the way I spoke, thanks to my previous experiences, they really trusted me. They had this idea that, oh, you're in such a young age and you're trying to do that. And they felt like they would support me, and they would always like give a chance and do like a 3-month contract at first. And then of course they would, once they saw that everything was done as we promised, then they would renovate the contract. So for me, it was an advantage. Most of the time we are the ones who are like, we have this prejudice toward ourselves, but other people, they they could surprise you.
Yeah, sometimes maybe we need to be more self-confident.
Yeah.
I want to go back to your history, not to your story, but to your history with the business, and try to find in your memory the worst day. So go back there and just explain us how was your worst day, or was there a very, very, very bad day when you said, "Oh, I'm not going to do this. I'm pissed off."
Well, there was a very bad day, but I never said I'm not gonna do this anymore on that day. I did say it all the other days, but not on that day. Because when you're an entrepreneur and you have employees, there is this huge responsibility you have towards them. And that is the biggest and the most scariest thing, according to me, of being an entrepreneur. Like, you have employees, you have people who rely on their salary. So you cannot just like, oh, I'm tired, I'm done with this, and I'll close it. The worst day was during the pandemic. I had the biggest client that we had. He was late on payments and he didn't renew the contract, and I was like, oh my God. It's not the fact that they didn't renew the contract, but the scariest part was like, am I going to get the money for the services that we already provided? And in the meantime, the states, the government, you need to pay taxes regardless of if you got the payment from your client or not. And every the 7th of the month we have the salary day. So it was this like everything exploded in that moment when I received that email. But
did you cry that day?
I could have. I don't remember. Usually when I'm pissed, I cry. So I'm sure I cried at some point. But what usually calms me down when it comes to business is I sit down and I do calculations. Like this is that so that calms me down, because it like gives it. I see the issue in a more objective way, not just emotional, like how could they do this to us, but I see it in a more objective way, and only that way you see ways how to get out of it.
Yeah. Okay. Now, can you please explain the details of the best day? So go back to your memory.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit difficult now because you were there at the worst day.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just keep talking now to help the memory to go back to the luckiest day.
I can't pick up a day that was as happy in the amplitude as this worst day was. There were a lot of happy days, but I would say when we got the first international client, we were like surprised, like, oh my God, they really are doing this. They are signing a contract with us. So that was a very big happy moment. And all the moments when we were out as a team, like, I don't know, doing like recreational stuff, those are let's say the best moments when we are as a team all together, just like having fun and making fun of our clients sometimes. But I would say when we got the first international client, that was the happiest business day.
Yeah, it makes sense. So you started with 2 people. It was you and someone else, or you and 2 others? And how many are you now?
It was me and 2 other people part-time. They were students, business students. I always had like this. When I was a student, I always was looking after part-time opportunities, and they were very hard to get. So this is what I wanted. Once I got on the other side, I wanted to provide this opportunity for students. They don't have to sacrifice everything to work 8 hours a day and also go to school. They could just work 4 hours and then also follow school properly. Now the maximum of people we have been, it used to be before the pandemic, we were 7. Now we are 4. We were 2 before, and now we are like starting to grow back bit by bit. But as I said before, we now have this approach of a boutique agency. So we're not really looking to grow in numbers, more in quality of clients.
That's good. How is it to work with young generation?
They amaze me.
Really?
They are amazing. It's like they have this. I'm talking from my perspective. It's very hard to find very like professional people in general, not like the youth, but working with youth, you have like the best employees I've had. They were like under 22 of age. So they are very dedicated, they're eager to learn, they are good problem solvers. So, and this is what I look in people, like if I'm constantly asking you to do things, I might as well do it myself. So I'm looking for people who are not afraid to get initiatives, and I can see in the young generation, I can see this more compared to before.
So they want to initiate things, you mean? So they are more independent, they are creative. Okay.
They are more independent, and they only reach out to you when they really need you, not like perfect. For things like that they know how to do themselves, but they don't need these constant attentions. They are very independent and they really do a good job.
Yeah, it seems like to me, once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. So what is the next step, not just in your business, but in your business life? Maybe it doesn't have to do with this business that you have now. Do you have something in your mind that is going on and you want to put out in the market?
Yeah, actually, right now I am, since I trust young people so much, I am not a general manager in my company anymore. I'm more of an outsider, just overlooking and there for them if they might need something, maybe some funding. But now the general manager, she's a young lady who was an employee for like the past 3 years, and now she's the general manager. I took a break from the business life, and now I am cooking something on the side with other business partners. But I cannot give you any more details.
Okay. But there is something going on.
Yeah, there is something going on, but it's very true that once an entrepreneur, always an entrepreneur. You might take a break, but it's still in the back of your head that, you see business ideas every day, all day. You look out. It's like an instinct. So it's just a matter of like, for these past years, now I've had a lot of other business ideas, but now I came up with, not just me, but also my other business partners, we came up with this thing that we really like. We kind of knew that, okay, this could work. So we're going after that.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
We will be waiting to know more, maybe in the next meeting. We have some last minutes, and maybe there is some advice you'd like to give to young people who are looking to do something by themselves.
I would say get some experience first. If you can during your studying years, okay. If not, at least 2 years, you need to be working for someone else. You need to know the perspective of an employee. You cannot run a business without being an employee first for yourself. This and the other advice is don't take things personally. Like people say no to you for all kinds of reasons. Don't think that they say no because they don't like your idea, because they don't like you. Maybe they could have other reasons. Maybe it's not, they are not in that moment in their customer journey, let's say to buy your product or service. So don't take things personally, be professional, and everything will work out.
Keti, thank you so much for being with us and for these all good things you said. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks.